So you've got an idea for an indie film. You could shoot it yourself on a budget that would barely cover equipment, put it up on Vimeo or Amazon and hope for the best, or you could stage that story as a play and maybe even get an immediate return on your investment. Welcome to the channel, friends. I'm Aaron. I'm a filmmaker who pivoted to theater, and I just watched a community theater do an original Zorro story that was insanely cinematic. In this video, I'll take you to the Maverick Theater in Fullerton to talk about how they brought the original superhero back home to Orange County, and how they put the best Zorro movie I've ever seen on a small stage with a modest budget. Theater has a reputation for being stuffy, pretentious, even elitist. It's something we combat all the time on this channel. We constantly remind people that haunted attractions are theater. There's a craft to these experiences that merits consideration and discussion. The Maverick Theater in Fullerton seems to have a similar mission. They stage a lot of shows based on pop culture like B-movies. They make theater more accessible while still committing to the craft at a high level. I want to reiterate that The Return of Zorro is an original show, not a pre-existing script they got off the rack. It was written by Andrew Piñon, who also played Zorro. Oh, and he also did the fight choreography. Impressive guy. Let's meet him.
Hi, my name is Andrew Piñon. I am a writer, I'm an actor, I'm occasionally a director and filmmaker and fight choreographer, and I wrote and did the fight choreography for Zorro, The Return of Zorro. We talked about doing Zorro, and I thought about it all summer, but I didn't really write anything. All I was doing was just thinking about the characters, Who could we have? What kind of fights could we have? I thought about the tomahawk versus Bowie knives fight first. I was like, well, I want to have that definitely because I've never seen that, or at least don't remember seeing it. And then, yeah, just started developing the characters. And by the end of the summer, I went on this 8 or 5 hour flight to Hawaii. Never been to Hawaii, but 5 hours there, 5 hours back. My kids had their headphones, so they were all taken care of. So I'm like, get out the computer, let's see what happens. And I started writing, and in the 5 hours there and 5 hours back and a couple hours in between, I wrote 80 pages of the play, and it was a lot crazier and grander, but I got it down, and the next 2 weeks I finished a draft, and that's the hardest thing, is just getting to the end, as you know, I'm sure. But I did it, and then I did a couple more drafts of it and cleaned it up and went, okay, well, I'm gonna see what Brian thinks, if it's even close to something he would think about being able to put up in the Maverick, and he really liked it. So yeah, it was a fun process.
Now, I misspoke a little when I said Andy plays Zorro, because this show actually has 2 Zorros. It's a passing of the torch story, which means that Don Diego, Andy, is training a young guy named Alejandro, played by Justin Gonzalez. I asked them both what it's like to play an iconic character like Zorro.
My name is Justin Franco Gonzalez, and I play Alejandro / young Zorro. It's a gift. I'm so glad that Andy and Brian chose me. It's been fantastic.
It's an honor. I mean, he was one of the first superheroes that I can think of. I think that Scarlet Pimpernel was probably before them, but yeah, the first one to wear a mask.
I mean, definitely in that last scene, when I get to slap the doors and I come out in the whole thing, and you know, the crowd roars, there's no other high than you can get here in live theater, and I think that's why I chase it. But yeah, to your question, it feels incredible.
I'm just ecstatic to be able to go on stage and play with swords and fight and act with these amazing, talented actors that we have. Working with Brian's always so much fun, and the fact that he even wanted to direct it, because I was like, well, you know, if you give me the stage, maybe I can direct it and whatever. And he's like, I want to direct this, and I was like, oh, go at it. But as far as playing Zorro, I really enjoyed playing it. I mean, I could retire now because it's, you know, what else you get to do? Although I am coming back for Night of the Living Dead again because I like killing zombies as well.
These 2 characters had a bit of an Obi-Wan Anakin vibe. The elder was wise but cautious. He's pained about what he's lost. The younger is gifted but arrogant. He seeks vengeance for what's been taken from him. There's a theme of duality in this show, which is sort of a natural fit with a story about a masked hero with a secret identity. A lot of Batman movies have a theme of duality. And in this show, the 2 Zorros built off of that motif. Strong thematic writing is part of why this show worked so well.
made it so that they were a little antagonistic towards each other. And he's a little jealous of Alejandro, I think, too, because he's naturally gifted, whereas Vega was probably someone who had to work really, really hard at doing these kind of swordplay and trained really hard and didn't always, he was rich and wealthy, which is something Alejandro isn't, which is probably why he had to survive and adapt and can adapt quickly to become Zorro, whereas Vega was a little pampered and, took the classes and did the things and was good at that. And, it's just a nice juxtaposition between the two characters, and that was fun to write.
I could be really comedic, really funny, but I think that makes those dramatic moments, like when I'm having the conversation with God or with Felina, it makes those moments truer, because I get to go to the extreme and be a clown, but then at the same time I get to be this person that's lost his family and is now finding a new family, right? I mean, he's surely like a vagabond and someone that's trying to find his way, and the only way he's found his way is through stealing. But at the same time, at the top of the show, he still talks about how he's still looking for vengeance, or to avenge his parents' death. And by the end of it, he gets to have that, which is it's really nice.
One of the other things that struck me about the writing is that all the characters were active instead of passive. What do I mean by that? Well, if a character decides to go on a journey to achieve something they want, that's an active character choice. If the character is told they have to go on a journey or they'll die, let's say, they're passive. It's basically a gun to their head. Passive protagonists rarely work as well. Internal conflict is what makes us care about a character, which is why an active protagonist is usually kind of the bare minimum for a storyteller. But Andy kind of went above and beyond with this script. Not only was the protagonist active, but so were a lot of the supporting characters. During the interviews, I learned that Andy's background as an actor influenced his writing and made the supporting characters a whole lot richer.
This is coming from an actor who writes, background. That when you have a character, you're like, what's motivating me? Why am I doing this? How do I actively go for these characters? So as I was writing the characters, you're writing them, if I was an actor in this role, what would I want to play? What would excite me? What would motivate me? So that's the actor background and everything. Everything we do makes us who we are today. So the times that I was acting, but I wasn't getting the roles that I wanted, I learned how to write. And then when I finally learned how to write, I wrote parts for myself. And I'm like, all right, well, let's write something that'll be at least fun to play and engaging. And
it's easy for an actor to act, because I think when the material is bad, there's only one way to do it. And when it's good, every time you say it, it opens up a new idea, and you can go somewhere either emotionally or comedically. And like tonight was different than I did it last night, and last night was different than I've done it like the whole rehearsal process, But yeah, Andy's so giving, and he's also so willing to change things, and it's nice to have the writer, actor, because if I'm in a scene with him and I say, hey, I think it'd be funnier if I did this. And there is a little bit of and then I got to do it, and then he's like, okay, yeah, that's pretty good, that's funny.
What's always struck me about the Maverick shows is how cinematic they are, which made sense in the past, given every other show that I've seen was adapted from a film. This show, however, was an original story specifically written for the stage, and yet it still had that Maverick cinematic feel. Some of the early scenes that set up the characters and the exposition are kind of what you'd expect from traditional theater. Dialogue-driven, limited sets, long runtime, but much like a film, the scenes got quicker and more dynamic as the story moved along.
So it was really an honor that he even liked the script. It's always, you make something, you like it, and then you give it to someone else, and you're like, well, what do you think? But it's been so well received. There's been multiple drafts that we had to do to get into the actual space. The first draft was quite ambitious, but it got cut down in scenes and characters gone away, and some new ones came up, and it's been such a great process.
But yeah, I love it here, man, because Brian, the production quality is, up here. For community theater, at least. You go to other community theaters, there's acting boxes and stuff, which is, I've done that too, you know, and it's a lot of fun. You got to do it. But this, I mean, like having Alex Conway, who does all of the set painting and stuff. I mean, he works for Disney. You know, he did like Star Wars Land.
One of the other advantages a play will give you over a film is that it allows you to add some local flavor. The Maverick is a theater located in Orange County, California, and the first Zorro stories took place in San Juan Capistrano, also in Orange County. Zorro is a very global character, but staging the show where they did allowed a chance to honor his roots. And on that same note, Andy, the director Brian, and the rest of the cast tried to honor the heritage of the diverse cast of characters.
Coming from, you know, the Mexican, Latin heritage, and myself, native, indigenous, it's rare to find a hero that's actually also of that origin as well, and an Orange County hero as well. Because we had originally thought about doing, you know, Musketeers or something, this or this. Haven't heard of any Zorros ever been put up, and I always loved the character. I love the movies, from the old black and white ones to the ones with the Antonio Banderas and Anthony Hopkins. They're just so much fun, so much passion behind them, and just the Latin Mexican culture is very passionate and very, like, you know, engaging, and it like just tap into every kind of emotion in their television shows and their movies, and I wanted to explore that, and I knew it was going to be more of a popcorn film, but I did want to ground the characters as best as I could.
I got this video out a bit late, so Zorro is done. But please be sure to see another show at the Maverick. They have a series of shows based on B-movies that they do every year, like Plan 9 from Outer Space, Night of the Living Dead, and Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which is as fun as it sounds. The Maverick has a loyal fan base that makes these shows an annual tradition, so be warned, they all sell out really quickly. And if you can't make it to the Maverick, maybe you don't live in Southern California, consider subscribing to this channel. Brian and the people at the Maverick have graciously invited us to cover several shows, and we hope that trend continues. If you made it this far, give the video a like, maybe leave a comment. Engagement helps push the video to new people and spread the word about great independent theater. For more about the cool cinematic work that they do at the Maverick Theater, go check out our video on King Kong. Thank you so much for watching. We're building this channel brick by brick, and it honestly means the world to me that you're here. So, until next time, support your local scare actor.